Hey everyone, my name is Curtis and today I'm doing a quick little video on the hobby of backyard bird feeding. Now you might ask, what is the hobby of backyard bird feeding? And it is exactly how it sounds. It is the hobby in which we attract wild birds into our backyards by offering them fresh foods, waters, by planting natural plants, gardens, all of these types of things to mimic or create their natural environments. So the hobby of backyard bird feeding is something that has gone back many hundreds of years, quite possibly a lot longer in feeding birds or living with birds or having symbiotic relationships with birds, kind of back to the hunter-gatherers. And birds are quite often a fairly symbolistic animal for humans in general. They create and trigger emotions that other animals don't seem to always trigger. So anyhow, the hobby of backyard bird feeding to many is just, going to the hardware grocery store and picking up a cheap bird feeder and putting a cheap wild bird seed mix in it. However, as many of you may know, this can lead to a lot of issues, maybe some inadequate results, and may not also be the best for the birds either. So in this series, we're going to go over the hobby of bird feeding and how to do it correctly, safely, and more efficiently so that we're attracting more beautiful varieties to our yard and doing it in a healthy, safe way for the birds. So that's obviously the most important part. And the more, the more birds, the more variety of birds, and the healthier birds is going to mean more joy for us. Because ultimately, we are feeding the birds to help them, but there is a selfish reason that we do it as well to, benefit from the joy of the backyard birds. So getting started off on the right foot is really important, and also realizing that this is a thoughtful, serious hobby that bird feeding enthusiasts like myself, we do take seriously. And it does come with responsibility as well, just like any other hobby, particularly any other hobby that deals with living things, such as the hobby of fish keeping. It's a similar idea, except in our homes. So when it comes to the hobby of bird feeding, it is important to understand the types of birds we have in our areas. And I'm in the Pacific Northwest between Alaska and Washington State in Canada. And the types of birds we have here are going to be, fairly common on the west coast of North America. But if you're on the east coast of North America or the south or north, or perhaps in the UK or South America or some other completely, entirely different continent, the types of birds you're going to have are going to be different. Now, for the most part, the vast majority of the birds are going to be divided into kind of their subsections of diets. So your weed seed eating birds, your conifer seed eating birds, your insect eating birds, your tree nut eating birds, all these different types of birds are going to be, eating different types of foods, and understanding the types of birds in our areas and the types of foods they eat naturally are going to be crucial to knowing what to offer in our yards to attract those types of birds. And we're not competing with nature, we're supplementing nature. So we're never going to be able to compete with natural feeding sources for birds. All we can do is supplement them. So particularly in areas where natural environments have been deforestation has occurred, or development or industrial development, we've depleted their habitats, agriculture, pesticide use. So by supplementing birds' natural, in natural environments in our own yards, even just supplementing in a small yard can be pretty crucial, and we can attract a lot of birds to our yard by doing this in a thoughtful way. By also, doing it in a thoughtful way, in the right way, we can eliminate a lot of the issues many backyard bird feeders find with messes, attracting critters, maybe attracting undesirable birds. We have the solutions and the ways to prevent and eliminate these sort of problems. So today is just a quick little video on the introduction of the hobby of backyard bird feeding. And as we go along in this series, we're gonna go step by step, and what we mimic weed seeds with, what we mimic grass seeds with, how we mimic thistle, how we mimic tree nuts, how we mimic insects. We have products and food to mimic across across the board and attract the vast majority of birds to our yards, and even the birds like the aerial insectivores or the fruit-eating birds that don't necessarily come to feeders. We can attract them with other ways, like using natural water sources, natural food sources, by attracting insects and biodiversity to our yard by planting native plants rather than ornamental. So we'll go throughout this all throughout the series, but I want to keep this video today fairly short. Thanks for watching, and I really appreciate you coming along on this journey with me, and I hope that I can help you enjoy bird feeding as much as I enjoy bird feeding. Bye-bye.